Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
Fat guy on a little quad. Fat guy on a little quad. Hey, if you don't hurry, this one's going to be mine. It's Cycle Search 2023, your opportunity to win not one, but two great off-road vehicles with Mix 96 FM and all of Total Media. You don't want to miss out on it.
It's something you and your buddies can take home and race.
Show right here on Main Street TV. It is what, Thursday?
It is.
Which means a visit from our good friend, Dr. Brian Rao. I'll cut the doctor.
Thank you.
Cut the crap, Jennifer. No, I'm just kidding. Dr. Brian Rao, Superintendent of Wellston City Schools. So thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to invite myself.
Hey, you are invited anytime. You don't have to invite yourself.
It is hard to believe it's been a year.
The math. I'm like driving in this morning. I'm like, how long? It's been like a year since you've been. It seems like a month ago.
It's absolutely insane.
And I would like to say that a year seems like a long time, but I'm sure when you're a new superintendent of a new location, time flies, and a year probably isn't time to even get started interacting some of the things that you want to.
You get asked in interviews sometimes, what's your vision, and all these questions about the future, and you think it's just so far off in the distance.
Yeah.
And it's like, and even the first 5 years I was superintendent, the years do, as we get older, the years get quicker. We know that's how it works.
For sure.
But it's just hard to believe this school year here at Wellston. Maybe it's because time flies when you're really having fun.
Hey, there you go.
I'm truly having just a blessed time to be at Wellston. It's an incredible school system, but man, the time has just flown by. We're already almost, and we've got, 30-some day, whatever the case is, maybe down to 50 before commencement. Now, I can't, whatever it is, I can't believe it.
It's like mind-blowing. It's like, winter kind of creeps by, we're like, oh, January and February is not like, the weather's blech and whatever. And about March hits, and then it's like the school year just.
Yeah. It's with state testing. Now, the weather's still blah.
Yeah, it is. Other than yesterday, which was, I hope y'all got out and enjoyed it.
I hope so, too, because it was nice. But, y'all, we're heavy deep in state testing now, just the end of the year things. We got, end of the year field trips coming up, just different recognition ceremonies, and just all kinds of things to celebrate Wellston. It's just wonderful. Wonderful time.
Good. And, your enthusiasm is infectious, and I think that that's just such a wonderful thing. So, let's just get it out there. How has your first year been?
I never could have predicted how it could have been. Of course, in my mind, I'm thinking this is going to be great start, great new location. I never would have dreamed it was going to be as good as it is. Now, does that mean that we haven't had our bumps in the roads? Nope, we're not perfect, and I'm not going to pretend like we're perfect.
Well, you're never not going to have bumps in the road.
Exactly, but every negative situation, you have to learn something positive from it, and I think that's the one thing that's one of the philosophies I live by. Is I never have a bad day. Just some days might just not be as great as others.
Sure,
but the situation that I personally have at Wellston, I'm just speaking for me, is I have an incredible Board of Education. I've got incredible administrators, incredible staff members, support staff. I could go on and on, but I know I would forget someone. But that culture at Wellston City Schools, and I don't know how it used to be. That's before my time, and I'm not concerned with that.
I was going to say, it doesn't have anything to do with you.
No, but my gosh, it's a breath of fresh air coming up where I have as many people that really are here for kids, and it's refreshing, and man, it's a lot of fun.
And I'm sure they're very, very happy to have you. And I think that, I'm trying to think of, some of the things we touched on besides Bigfoot when you were here the last time. Which was so funny because we were talking about that. James and I got on this Bigfoot kick for a while, and then you were showing me a message that popped up on your phone earlier. It was a Bigfoot thing.
Can I add to the Bigfoot stuff?
Yes, please do so.
So do you remember what we talked about Bigfoot using as currency?
Marbles.
Right. And so I think it's still over there. So I had a bag of marbles. I was like leaving around joking those Bigfoot.
Yes.
So I did that to my girlfriend. I left some marbles on her kitchen table. And and this was a year ago around the same time. And so she had a power outage this weekend, and she had a scooter refrigerator out to get to the plug behind that. She was plugging it into a backup energy thing. So she scoots her fridge out. What does she find?
The marbles.
But a whole bunch of marbles under her refrigerator.
Bigfoot has been back.
Bigfoot was in her kitchen, leaving
terrorizing
marbles
the refrigerator.
Yep.
Just messing with poor Aubrey, as if she hasn't had a bad enough couple of days. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But so when you were here, I know that you were really into just getting started at Wellston, but open door policies and communication and things like that. How has what are some of the things that have gone the way you expected, and some of the things that you're like, oh, we're still working on, or this is not what I expected at all?
Well, I still try to maintain my open door policy. Now, I'm out so many. I have a lot of meetings, and if I do not have a lot on my schedule, I always go out and try to visit the buildings. But if people do try to call me and I'm not in, leave me a message. I'll call you back. So I truly believe in getting back with folks, and I have a story about that too. If you can remind me about an email I received once.
Sure.
But those, as far as the communication and building relationships, those things that's going pretty well. I'm actually very pleased with the relationships that I've been able to build with. Because obviously there could be a stigma around unions, whether teachers union, classified unions.
Oh, okay.
I've got a wonderful relationship with both of the union's leadership, and I couldn't ask any better for that. And I truly mean that.
Because that can be nightmarish.
If you're not willing to work. I have been to a place where it has been a nightmare.
Yeah.
So to come up here to actually be able to have conversations, we're not going to agree all the time, but we can have those conversations. It's very refreshing to come out and still be able to respect the person you're talking across the table from. Can we send you to
Congress?
I would be terrible at Congress. I would probably be dead because I don't take bribes, and I probably would not last very long. I'm not very political, but those are the types of things that are much better than what I had anticipated. And
great!
And I anticipated it to be good and fine. But it's beyond that.
Good.
So, and we've had no major issues. Not saying we won't, but things happen. But just knowing that I've got folks that I can have a conversation with is great.
That's a great start.
What I didn't really expect is just the pace of everything. Everything is so fast. I mean, where I came from, of course, it's a lot smaller up here. It's over twice the size.
Okay.
So just the pace of stuff is like, okay, here, there, and everywhere. And it's like, so some of that stuff was a little bit different to get adjusted to. And of course, adjusted to different folks and that kind of stuff, learning the culture, learning the routines, the processes, and all that kind of stuff. But I like to learn things, and just, again, the climate and the culture of that school district is really what sets the tone for it. And it's just been an incredible experience.
Well, that sounds all pretty darn good.
It is.
Yeah. No, that has to be kind of an adjustment coming from, a school district that's half the size, and then, going to one that's double. And so that's more working parts, more students, more teachers, more parents to deal with.
More parents.
More sports stuff.
It is. And it's if you can't handle the criticism as far as a parent complaint, an employee complaint, you don't need to be sitting in my seat.
No, you have to have pretty thick skin.
Yeah. But you have to be a good listener.
Yeah.
I mean, and this goes back. I received an email and I'm not going to give the guy's name because he doesn't want me to mention his name, but I told him I'd give him a shout out today. He knows who he is.
Hey, guy.
I received an email. I don't know if it was late August, September-ish. I can't remember. And he had a legitimate concern, and the email wasn't a great email. I mean, it was. I joke about it now because it was a pretty scathing email.
Oh.
But it's because of the passion this individual has for Wellston and Wellston City Schools. So I always tell folks, you always have to listen to everybody, read everything, and you always respond. So I elicited some feedback because a lot of the stuff I didn't know, being new here, and I wanted to make sure I responded with some sort of facts. Well, not some sort of facts, but facts. So at the end of the email, I said, well, why don't we just have lunch and we can talk about it? I've never been taken up on anything like that before. Oddly enough, he said yes. So now, come now in May, or coming up on May, we're in April. He's been a pretty good friend. He's been a buddy. So, and another advocate for Wellston City Schools, even stronger than what he was. But it was odd because he's like, I can't believe you asked me. I was like, I can't believe you said yes. So
sometimes you got to watch what you wish for, right?
And a lot of it, and again, it just to me, building those relationships and just being a good person and just listening to people.
And I think at the end of the day, it's, with marriage, with a job, with, whatever it may be, friendships, communication is key, right? And if everybody can just have empathy and understand where the other folks are coming from, it's really easy to just get mad and shut it down and say they don't know what they're talking about.
One of the easiest things that I could say in a lot of these situations is, have any of you been a superintendent of a school?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I don't want to hear about it until you've sat in my seat. I mean, I'm not like that.
Right.
But that would be the common response from some folks that I do know, that I've heard people say that.
Sure.
And to an extent it is true, but that's not how you approach it.
No, because if you can sit down and considering the fact that we as humans agree on, the majority of things, it just seems like the things that are focused on are the ones that we don't agree on. But if you can sit down as two human beings, which, you offered to do, and have lunch and just talk about it. Why not? What are you out?
Just like social media. It's so easy to criticize every school. I don't care what school district you are or what entity you are on social media.
Yeah.
But let's put an actual person face to face, and then we can actually have a conversation. And I think
with real emotions,
absolutely,
and
absolutely,
things. Yeah.
So I mean,
feelings.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't do social media. I don't have a Facebook account. I don't read what anybody puts on there. I mean, I'm just not interested in that.
Yeah.
But if somebody wants to have a conversation, I'll meet, have lunch, whatever the case is, and just. Unfortunately, technology has taken away all of the social aspect that we've built up over the generations and generations, and now it's just kind of went by the wayside.
It's a little frustrating. You're right. It's so good for so many things.
I know.
Emails and all of these things where we can instantly communicate. But on the other side of the coin, it has taken that personal aspect away. And it also has taken, in my opinion, this is not your opinion, kind of accountability for your actions away. Because anybody can sit there and be a keyboard warrior and send it and not have to look that person in the face. I mean, even bullying and stuff, and I know you see this with kids and whatnot. I mean, heck, back when we were in school, you had to look at somebody to do it.
Yeah.
And then you either fought it out in the at the bleachers, or you know,
behind the buildings,
or you cried and ran away, or you did something. But at least you had to look the person in the face. And so yeah, that is a little bit frustrating.
When you and I talked before we went on air.
Yeah.
You know, the old phrase back when we were in school.
Yeah. A few years ago.
Just one or two. We never had a lot of these issues. We never had social media, and that's a lot of it. But it's just unbelievable the amount of the social emotional issues we have, mental health issues. Schools today are not like schools they were 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, our teachers are being asked to do more. You know, when I went to school to be a teacher, they taught me how to be a teacher. They didn't teach me how to be a mental health counselor.
Right.
A counselor. Actually, when you're... the phrase I use a lot, in loco parentis, means in place of the parent. That's pretty much gone away to and I can't remember the other Latin term for it that means basically we are the parent.
Okay.
You know, I think that's now we're asking sometimes to even be the parent. So there's a lot of situations that a lot of us veteran teachers we're not equipped for because we never learned all that stuff.
Right.
And even some of the new ones coming in, you know how. And I've talked to 2 or 3 universities about their higher ed program. What's going on with this, and how are you dealing with the mental health or social emotional aspect with these folks coming out? Because these folks aren't equipped to deal with some of these issues and behaviors that we've got. So I mean, it's a systemic issue, and I don't know how you resolve it.
You know, and the systemic issue is, you know, obviously you're here to talk about Wellston, but would you mind talking about that for a minute and kind of exploring that since you're here and kind of an open book with things? And you're exactly right. I mean, I can remember going to school, your teacher, you learned your ABCs and you learned, you know, your multiplication tables and whatever, and you went home at the end of the day and you went home to your parents and they helped you with your homework and whatever. And that's technically how it's supposed to work. But what are some of the major challenges you're seeing with kids today? And is it COVID related, or is it just related, and is it just the world in which we live now? And that's an excuse.
This is just my opinion, and I am not a mental health counselor, or I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I think the issues may have been always underlying, and COVID probably just heightened all of that because now all of a sudden that's on the forefront, and then, you know, so I'm not saying the issues weren't always there, but a lot of our kids today face challenges that I never faced when I was their age. You know, I never had, again, the social media stuff, but I won't keep belaboring that. You know, most of my that I can remember of the students who I went to school with, we all had one thing in common for the most part. We had 2 parents.
Yeah.
Nowadays, and I hate to say this, but that's just not the norm.
Yeah.
I mean, I wished it was the norm. We still have the traditional mother-father, but we have some, you know, one mother, one father. One mother or one father, and we've got a lot of kinship families where the grandparents are raising a child, a great grandparent, or aunt or an uncle, and a lot of the opportunities that I was given, I'm very blessed. You know, I had a very good, you know, my parents divorced when I was 16, but I still had a good upbringing. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these kids, they just do not have they don't have the experiences that even I went through with having 2 parents. So there's some challenges there with that.
Well, and some people, like, you know, I was kind of blessed too, because I ended up with then 4 good parents. You know,
I did
the
too
parents
eventually.
split up and you know, whatever, and then you end up with kind of more a split up, but an additional support system. But I don't want to sit here and make any excuses, because when they come to us, they're still our students. Sure.
And so that's what we have to put interventions in place. Just some type of a plan to make sure these kids are going to be successful, not just you know, for the Bundy School, not just for when they get to the middle school, not just when they get to high school or Buckeye Hills. You know, we want them to be successful once they graduate. That's the whole key to all of this.
Yeah.
So what can we do to put these in place? And there are sometimes we struggle with that. I mean, there's some kids that have some very challenging behaviors, and we struggle sometimes.
You know, it's so strange because, you know, you know, growing up, so you become a teenager and all these weird things are happening to your body and your brain is all over the place and you're tired and you're hormonal and all of that. And being a kid is hard enough.
Oh my gosh.
It is so hard. You're gangly, or you got acne or whatever it is. You know, we've all gone through all of that stuff. So that is hard. And then to have other things on top of it, I don't know how kids
see how they do it.
Are doing it. And then they're playing sports and they're, you know, in clubs and they're doing all this stuff. I mean, it's a lot.
And we'll get to what I'd like to get to is some of those accomplishments that our kids have done. I mean, and I had to write some of this stuff down because there's just too many to talk about. I mean, even though all the challenges we've got, we have so many things to be grateful for and just celebrate, and the accomplishments that we've had this year at Wellston City Schools. It's remarkable. It truly is.
In your first year, how are you going to top it?
Hopefully have a good year too.
Very, very good. But be a little bit patient with the kids out there, because it's hard.
And we stress that.
And be patient with the parents and the
Absolutely.
teachers, and
and that's a
all
good
of
point.
that.
And as I spoke on the radio about being a servant leader, I truly believe that that's what we are in education, or servant leaders. We're here to serve the students, especially in my position, here to
Sure.
serve the families, the community. So really, I truly am the epitome of servant leadership, not me, but the position. But and here's the thing I always tell our administration and staff: the parents send the best they have. I truly believe that all the parents out do the best they can.
Yeah.
Okay, with the resources they have. I truly believe that. So they're sending us their best product, which is their child.
Yeah.
In turn, those kids are going back to the best they have. So how that meshes with what we do at school, we have to be the best they have when they're here with us.
Yes.
And you can say somebody's best might be here or somebody's best might be here, but it's still the best they have.
Yeah.
And that's how we just have to look at it. There's no kid below another one. I mean, it's just how I look at it. And it's a challenge sometimes, but it's a mindset that you have to get in.
It is, and I'm sure it's hard some days to not let it get you down. But you know what? At the end of the day, when you talk about all of these accomplishments that these kids are making, and our local kids are just in general are. My gosh, you and I were talking about off the air too. The things that they're doing today, we would have never A, had the opportunity to do, but B, even thought about doing. So cool.
Those opportunities, you and I would have been. You talk about science fiction.
Oh,
we thought now having the George Jetson days. Or that's almost a thing in the past. That's almost a thing in the past. We've outdone him. So it's just amazing where we are in today's day and age, and the opportunities the kids have for any type of good career. We never had those opportunities.
Heck no. No, and you're exactly right. The sky's the limit. The world is the limit. It's just you're not confined to sticking around.
You are not
here or whatever anymore.
Now we want you to come back to the.
We do. We want you to come back and lead and do great things for the community. But it's okay if you get out and about too. It's a big old world out there. Go see it.
And absolutely, absolutely.
Yep. So let's talk about some of this
all right.
stuff.
Now we don't want to forget the cycle hint. So don't forget that.
Do you want to get to it so we don't forget it?
Well, am I now in charge of the show?
You are.
We better do it now before we forget it.
Okay, because we're worried about that. So I don't have it on paper, but James texted it to me. So we'll do that. Hold on, I got to blow it up because I can't see it.
And that's pretty neat that they're doing that. I've actually got, of course.
While you're looking that up, Jen, I do think this is a good question. You mentioned George Jetson.
Yes.
This gentleman would like to know when Wellston is getting its flying car.
Well, oddly enough, now there's some kind of patent out there. Yeah, it's not in Wellston, but there are some kind of patent out there.
There are definitely, vehicles out there that are able to do that. All right, so today is day 34 of the Cycle Search 2023, and your clue is brought to you by Howard Hanna Realtors and Iron City Implement. So we're going to make Dr. Brian read this clue today. We're both old, so he's got to put on his cheater glasses. But you're going to read day 34 there of the clue.
All right, day 34. We've come so far with still no winner. Can it be found before Easter dinner?
Ooh.
So again, we've come so far with still no winner. Can it be found before Easter dinner?
Oh, Nelly. There we go.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. Now you know. Let's see. Good morning, Mr. I hope you.
I am having a great day, Heather. And it's nice to hear from you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it.
I'm just happy to hear we've got some viewers.
Yes, we do. We do. All right.
So, Jennifer, I've got a bunch of photos that Dr. Rouse sent us.
Yes.
I can kind of flip through these. These are some of the student accomplishments and things from the last year. And
yeah.
If he wants to I'll just go through these if you want to.
I'm not going to say I'm going to be able to say, hey, that's the name of that. But
We'll flip through.
We'll
see-
do the best we can.
Yep, just flip through them there. I think that's when our art club went down to Bundy to help out with some things. So that's part of our art club at Bundy with some kids doing a mural.
You guys have the art club doing the
Oh, the art
murals
club!
is
Oh my
really
gosh,
cool.
our art club is the art. We have an incredible art teacher. We had
Yes.
one in the past as well, but I unfortunately didn't know them. But oh my gosh, they've done amazing.
And then is that at Dairy Queen?
That's at Dairy Queen.
Yeah, they did that too, didn't they?
Yep.
Okay, very
Yep.
cool.
That looks like the Bundy Carnival. That was probably part of the auction.
Well, that's a lot of people.
Yeah, it was packed. Bundy Carnivals, they just do an amazing job. The Bundy PTO just do incredible work.
Yeah, that's so good.
I believe that was the Easter egg hunt. I can't tell if that's Bundy or the intermediate school.
It's Bundy.
Okay.
Hey, and speaking of Easter egg hunts,
The city of Wellston. The city of Wellston has its Easter egg hunt this Saturday, April the 8th, and it is at the high school baseball fields, and that will be at noon. And what amazed me about this was this stat. I love stats. I was like, I had to read it twice. Like, do I have an extra zero in there? But our members of our student body, in which they are so great and wonderful.
Oh, yes.
They filled over 10,000 eggs, and I'm thinking, what? 10,000 eggs? That's just remarkable.
It is
remarkable.
And that's sponsored by the Sons of, is it the American Legion? They were just in here.
Oh, who was just in here? It was the bow hunters? No.
That's
I don't
We
remember.
will
I
get that
apologize.
information to you.
But anyway, it's I think that's who it is. And they do this thing every year. They want you to, just as a little side note, show up a little bit before noon. They want you to register. So that, and it's not anything other than just so they can get your kids in the right age groups.
Sounds fair.
Yeah, because you don't want, like the 12-year-olds and the 2-year-olds fighting for the same eggs. That's not
Exactly.
really quite fair.
Did you hear about that story in Dayton about the egg hunt that went awry?
No.
They had an Easter egg hunt at the Green, which is like a mall in Beaver Creek, close to the Wright State campus.
Okay.
And apparently the parents got a little too into it.
Unbelievable.
And
Yep.
some kids may have gotten hurt. And the mall maybe is not going to have
Isn't
an
that
Easter egg hunt
something?
again.
So the true story about this. So you didn't grow up here per
True.
se. So growing up, and I talk about this a lot, and I whine about it a lot, and I'll never get over it. It's one of the things that has damaged my id. Growing up, my dad owned all the radio stations that are here in this building. And so the big sponsors of the Easter egg hunts, they were always put on by the radio. So I was never able to participate
Oh, no.
in the Easter egg hunts. But that wasn't my point on this story, because I've whined enough about that over the years that I had to sit and watch all the other kids hunt eggs while I had to hide them and do the work.
So now this is going to be a therapy session.
Yes, something like that. But no, it got to the point where they had to put up barriers to keep the parents out because of that very, very thing. And that was way back, then, that the parents would start. So they had to start banning the parents. They had to keep the parents behind a line and then let the kids move forward.
Have I
Because of
told
that.
Have told you my heartbreaking Easter egg hunt story, Jen?
No, you just showed me your
creepy Easter bunny
your
picture?
creepy Easter bunny picture.
So when I was a little kid, the way the Easter egg hunts that we always went to work, there were the regular eggs, but then there were bigger eggs that had like a prize.
Okay.
So if you found one of the big eggs, you get like a bicycle or something like that.
Oh.
And so I don't know how old I was, but I was still pretty little, and I found one of those big eggs. It was up in a tree, and I was too little to get it. And I'm standing there staring at it. And then one of the big kids sees me standing there staring at that big egg and jumps up and grabs it right in front of me. And it was the most heartbreaking moment of my young life.
No. So why are we doing these Easter egg hunts? There's
I don't
so many
know.
bad stories.
I don't know.
I'm just teasing.
But-
that is so sad.
I know,
James.
right?
Oh.
Right? But hey,
Now my head's shaking.
yeah. But hey, speaking of Easter egg hunts that we're not allowed to participate in,
Yes.
tomorrow, this is really exciting. So
Yes.
this is in Athens.
Yeah, this is a total sidebar.
This
from,
is a total
from Dr.
sidebar.
Rao being here.
But since we're talking about egg hunts,
Yes.
we'll mention this in here. So tomorrow is the big Power 105 egg hunt.
Yeah, this is cool.
This is really neat. So this is the first year Total Media has been involved in this. So this is exciting for us. But they've been doing this for like decades. So the way this works is tonight we're going to go out. We're going to hide quote unquote eggs. They're really more like a egg shaped like gift certificate all over the Athens area. And then Friday they're going to give clues on Power 105 all day long. That's cool. To
Isn't
where
that
these
fun?
are. So it's Power 105. So there's going to be 105 of these.
105 eggs all
Yeah.
over Athens.
All over, and they're all going to be connected to a prize. So then from 4 to 6 p.m., if you find one of those eggs, bring it to Hugh White Honda on Columbus Road in Athens,
Okay.
and that is where you're going to find out what your prize is.
That's pretty cool.
That is awesome.
It is pretty cool.
So everyone call off sick to work tomorrow, and you can go out and try to find these eggs.
But hey, so if you can't call off sick, we also have an online contest.
Oh, goody.
So what you got to do is you got to draw an Easter egg, decorate it in Power 105 theme, and send it to the Power 105 Facebook page. And then on Monday, they're going to pick a winner.
Oh, cool.
How cool was that?
Hey, so you have multiple ways to win if you
That's
can't spend your
awesome.
day in Athens tomorrow.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, very, very neat. So take
Total
advantage
fun
of that.
from Total Media.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, there you go. So that's our Easter egg sidebar for the day. But no, that is this coming Saturday. Get there a little bit early just so you can register so they can get your kids put in the right age groups.
Sounds great.
Yes. Okay.
What? I got.
We digressed.
That's okay. We're good at that. Okay, see, I'm about to do the same thing. Now, a couple things I do want to share.
Yes.
I'd be remiss if I didn't share that.
Absolutely.
This is kind of in my mind, the big announcement, if you want to call it something like that. I'm a huge proponent of early childhood education, as I
Yes.
think it's extremely important. We could talk for an hour about that, but we are going to be expanding preschool next year. So instead of having 2 classes, we're going to have 4. So I am
That's
imploring
awesome.
all parents with children that have 4-year-olds, please contact us and get your child enrolled in our preschool.
Okay.
Hopefully our spots will fill up. It'd be nice even if we had a waiting list, but we're really trying to get more kids involved with preschool to have them ready for kindergarten.
I can tell you, I know how frustrating this is. Such good news because it has been so frustrating for parents that I know to even be able to get their kid into any preschool, let alone the one that they want or a really good one like Wellston has.
And we are taking open enrollment for preschool if we
That's
have the
awesome.
slots open for that. And I won't get into all the reasons, but there are reasons, obviously. And really, we just want to make sure all the kids are ready for kindergarten. So that's kind of the big thing. The other thing, our open enrollment, there was some kind of, again, Facebook thing I was told out there that says we were not accepting open enrollment next year. That's totally false. Now, we're not accepting open enrollment anymore for this school year because we're about done.
Yeah, it's over almost.
But next school year, open enrollment will start May 1st for next school year. It will go through September 30th. So we are going to cut off open enrollment on September 30th.
Okay.
But
Well, that's a lot of time to get in there.
and we're hoping, and I mean this respectfully because I'm, as I emailed the administrator at St. Peter and Paul, we both have the same goal, which is educate kids. So that's to go without saying. But if I would love to have the students, they're going to have to make a transition somewhere.
Yeah,
let
unfortunately,
us be that transition. And if you're interested, and if you're not really from Wellston but you're interested, please contact myself or one of our building principals for a tour of the facilities, answer questions or that kind of thing. So we are accepting open enrollment beginning May 1st.
That's awesome. And here's the deal. Do exactly what you just said. See if it's a good fit. You take your kids to college visits. Why not take your kids to high school visits and see, where they're most comfortable and all of that.
Well, and some of the things, I'll try to get through this very quickly. I'm not going to get through all of it, nor am I going to try. But our facility project that we're going to be putting out where our track is at the high school.
Yes,
really
super
it's for
cool.
A lot of emphasis has been placed on the weight room piece of it. But really, with soccer and with track and field, we really need restrooms out there and a concession stand. So it's going to be restrooms, concession stand, and then a weight room.
Yes.
So we're really looking forward to that. And if you don't mind, I'd like to get through just some of this. I will.
Sure.
I will.
I mean, we're here for you, man.
Well, I appreciate it. Well, I promise not to take too much. I'm telling you, I had to write all this stuff down because there's too many accomplishments that we've had. I cannot remember them all.
Hey, why would you? Because there's a lot.
Well, and these are just a couple of things. So it's not like this is just the only things that we've done. But again, let me go back and say, I'm really impressed with the level of work that our staff does to prepare our kids for whatever that next step is. And a lot of this stuff is just indication of that, whether it's just learning responsibility, the other R word, respect, which is kind of hard to fuse in some place, but we do try to implement all of those types of, as I call, soft skills into the curriculum. But I can't speak enough about how great that Wellston City Schools is doing to prepare kids for, and again, maybe it's not working for everybody. We're not going to make everybody happy.
Sure.
But these are some of the accomplishments that I'm just absolutely just proud of. And this is not an all-inclusive list, by the way. At Bundy, if you've never been to Bundy's Wax Museum, it's where kids, and there were some pictures, I'm not sure whether we can get them up or not. And the kids dressed up as a person. And then they did a speech. There you have George Washington. I think John Henry was in there as well.
Cute.
So there's John Henry.
My God.
So you go around and you listen to them, and they did a great job on giving who they are, the backstory of who they are, and it's called the Wax Museum. And it was just it was amazing. I get cold chills sitting here just talking about it. That was amazing. It was amazing.
Steve Irwin.
And so those are some of the pictures from the Wax Museum.
Love
Neil Armstrong.
that.
Oh my gosh, that little boy was amazing. So there was a lot of good things. Oh, Bob Ross. There were some good. I mean, there were some very creative ones. And again, I can't put them all up there, but it was, and believe it or not,
good.
None of that was mandatory. That was all volunteer. So all those kids volunteered to do that, and they was memorizing their piece. It was amazing. So anyhow, that's one of the great things we had going on at Bundy, and you guys saw the carnival earlier. Our Bundy float did very well at the Apple Festival.
Yes.
As it historically does.
Yes.
So we're happy to hear that.
Lots of creative parents out there,
Yes.
right?
And as we talked about earlier, there was one school, now I think moving on to the intermediate school, we had a student place second in an art contest. Now, which is great because she gets to go into Columbus to present, and it was amazing how there's the picture of them right there. If she had won first, then she would have gotten the trip to Washington, D.C. along with the parent and the teacher. So that's something to strive for
That's
next year. Oh, but
okay,
still,
that is
second.
amazing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely amazing. And also, I think there were some pictures there of the intermediate school's family engagement evening. It was I kind of passed through there because I had something else going on that evening. But now I heard there was only like 45 families. I say only meaning because that was a lot. But that gym was just crowded.
Yeah.
And I was like, are you sure there was only 45 families? But did an amazing job. A lot of engagement with parents. They had different sessions with kids and with parents. So they did a very good job with that.
Love it.
Moving on to the middle school, we had a teacher, Mr. David O'Brien. Chorus, the Coalition of Rural and Appalachia Schools, recognizes teachers every year. So this year they recognized the middle school teacher, and we gave that award to Mr. David O'Brien, and he's just what a wonderful human being. I mean, wonderful teacher, but just a great human being.
And he teaches what? Did they say social studies?
Social studies, yeah. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yep. So we were very proud of him. This year, I was told this right before I came up here. It was last week. This year for the middle school, we had 127 students that were on the honor roll. That's been on the honor roll all year long, and that's not quite 50%. It's about between 40 and 45% of our student body. And those are kids that had GPAs of 3.5 to 4, all 3 weeks. And we have what we call an ICU program, and the acronym I've lost the acronym. But it's where students can go in and make up some work. So it's kind of a period that they can go in and do work if they're behind on some work.
Gotcha.
And I'm not saying that does or didn't have an effect on it, but it had to have done something. But 127 kids that's been on all 3 weeks, that's just a testament to the teachers and actually to the kids. We had a middle school wrestler who actually made it to the state wrestling meet. And oh my gosh, so it was phenomenal with that. He did. Went to watch him, I think at Waverly it was, and I said, "Oh man, he's good. He'd take me down."
Right? Don't get in a fight with that kid.
No. So I gotta watch. If I ever have to suspend him because he'll whoop me. But he great job. I mean, he did a great job.
That's
our
great.
middle school band. They got an excellent rating at the OMEA in Shawnee State, and our band's done a lot of great things both at the high school level and the middle school level. So things are just going. I mean, they're just wonderful. So the things we have going on are miraculous.
And they're having fun too, and that's what matters.
I got a few things here for the high school, and I'll just kind of breeze through them just for the sake of time. Our high school youth and government. This is the largest year of participants that we've ever had.
Really?
They went up to the State House. Every one of their bills that they introduced passed the committees, and some of the bills were make recycling accessible to all communities by creating a hotspot at community schools, make the clawing of cats illegal, create over. Now, I think this was probably more of a teacher one than a student one, but create overtime for public school teachers. I won't touch on that one right now.
Who put the little hint in their heads on that one?
Compensation for children of drunk driving victims. I like that one. Eliminate college. This one I really liked. Eliminate college application fees to Ohio's public colleges and universities. And those are just examples of some of the bills that they actually introduced. So it was great. Our National Honor Society. We had a member selected for the National Honor Society scholarship. Our National Honor Society students, they participated in, I couldn't count how many service learning.
Things.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
They're
With the
so
town
good.
cleanups and everything else. They actually sponsored our Veterans Day program. So the National Honor Society is doing great things. This one I don't think we have a picture of, but the Business Professionals of America, BPA. And I wasn't extremely familiar with this until I came up here because I don't think we really had that organization where I came from. But oh my gosh, we had 7. They went to the state competition. We had 7 state top 10 finishers. 2 teams are going to be participating at the National Leadership Conference in Anaheim, California at the end of this month.
What?
So we had 2 teams make it to nationals. We had a state winner from Ohio. And it was so many great things going on with that organization. And the advisor just does an amazing job. And those kids, I saw a video, and I didn't know if you guys could play video, so I never sent it. But of what they came up with an island, a town, it was just, I can't even describe it. It was so cool. So that's
cool.
what they come up with. So we'll see how they do at Anaheim, California.
That's awesome.
Art Club, talked about the Art Club already. Doing some great things with our FFA, even though they're a new group.
Yes.
But
so glad to have that back in our community with, all of the schools.
And I came from the vocational realm, meaning I was, I don't care if you make fun of me, I was made fun of all the time in high school anyway, is I wasn't part of the FFA. See, back in our day, I was FHA, which is Future Homemakers of America. Now it's FCCLA, so they've broadened it out. But for me, I'm always going to be FHA because that's just what I came up with. I was the first guy, the first male.
I was gonna say that's for girls.
I was the first male in FHA at Eastern. Now, part of it because my mother taught that, but not. And I really respected the teacher, and she passed since then. But I just loved her to death. Shirley West was her name, and anyway, I was the first male ever to be in it.
That's so good,
all 4 years. And then now, I think my junior year, I got one friend to be in it with me, another guy. Then in my senior year, I got another guy to be in it with me. And they said, man, I wish you'd have told me this 3 years ago.
Think of the skills that you learned,
and I still use them today.
Yeah.
I still use them today. So the FFA, going back to FFA, they compete for the very first time since 2004, so almost a decade. They competed at the fair here at Jackson County. They won the hay show. That was sponsored by Jackson Soil and Water District at the Farm City Days. A lot of members got chapter degrees, and 4 members are working on their state degree. They sponsored a family at Christmas time, and they've competed in a lot of things over the last year that, this is brand back new again. So
yes,
very
so
happy
good
for
to have
them.
it back.
The band, again, I can't say enough about the high school band. They got a superior rating at the OMEA large group at Shawnee State. And I'm a band guy, so I loved it. We had 9 marching rockets selected for the OMEA District 7 Honor Band, and they received a superior rating at and this was actually middle school, at solo and ensemble. So we had students that received a superior rating at OMEA as well. So a lot of great things going on with the band. They doing a great job, and they're very good. Some of the miscellaneous stuff here we had on there. I don't know if we can get that back on there. Rocky the Rocket, baby. We got a new mascot, and he is one cool looking dude now.
He is a cool looking dude.
Yeah, I actually like that. I'd like to be the one in him, but I was not. But if you ever need somebody, I'll wear that. I'll wear it. We received some top scores in AP Literature and Government. So some of our students who's taken AP courses, they actually received perfect scores, which I couldn't do that.
What?
So
that is so good.
This one here, it's great. I get cold chills, just looking at this stuff, because this is something we talked about earlier with the Harvards and the Yales and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We've got students who's received full scholarships to Ohio State and then Rio Grande. So that means that's just, as a parent.
Doesn't it make your heart burst?
Oh my gosh.
Like, so proud of you.
And not just as a superintendent, but as a parent.
Yeah.
We had a student who had some poetry published in the Southeastern Ohio poetry book. We had a student receive the Presidential Service Award. We had some records set in athletics, individual and team scores in bowling. I'm a bowler, so I love that one. And then we had the single season game scoring record in boys basketball. And then we've got a lot of students who are doing different things with, as we talked about earlier off air, CCP, and we've got our firefighting course, heavy equipment, and there's just so many other things going on. And that's just a snippet of the great things we have going on at Wellston. And
Way to go, kids.
I am just blessed beyond blessed to even be a small factor in just watching it. So it's I get cold chills. It's just remarkable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And our local kids have done so well, and we've had just so many awards and things like that. But I'll tell you what, back to this bowling thing. I'm so glad that there are bowling teams now.
Me too.
How fun would that have been? See, okay, so we were kind of whining off the air that the few years ago that we were in high school, we didn't have like all the opportunities that kids, have today. There weren't a lot of the clubs and, different teams, and there wasn't a fishing team and, all of this stuff. But I think bowling would have been so awesome.
I mean, there's two things that I have done since 8th grade. Or I'm sorry, since I was 8 years old. Let me rephrase that. Since I was 3rd grade, 8 years old. 1 has been bowling, and 2 has been riding motorcycles. So that's 2 of my long-term true passions, because that's what I've done all my life.
Yes.
And so it's great to be back up here, back bowling again myself, and then to go watch the bowling team, and they did well.
So
oh my gosh, they should have just the girls, especially the girls, would have come close to being in the top 10 in the sectional. I think it was a sectional. Just missed a couple spares here and there, but they were right there. So for me to watch that now, I'll tell you what was hard, because as a spectator, I'm not the coach. It was mandated. You had to keep your mouth quiet.
Was the ball not following you when you were going like this?
you got to watch what you do, because there'll be people walking around and say, "Sir, you can't do that. Sir, you can't do that." So that was the roughest time for me ever, keeping my mouth shut, is watching bowlers. And I said, I can go help them, but I just had to sit back and just. But they did great. I'm telling you, it was a great experience, because I've never got to see that where I was before.
Right.
And now we have these things here, and people. I hope they realize how blessed they are with the things that we have.
I agreed 100%. And I know, you mentioned this new building up at the track and all that, and that's been kind of a bone of contention, long time coming, finally going to be built. And I know how excited you all are about that. Oh my gosh. Getting the track built was a huge undertaking. And now, this building, everything costs 20 times more than it's supposed to now. And regulations and stuff have made it kind of impossible to get things, construction going. And, so happy about that, and that's going to be so utilized.
It will very much be utilized, and we're looking forward to seeing what the possibilities we have for it. So
yeah,
absolutely.
There you go.
Great things going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you've been in the job for about a year now, I can't believe it's been that long.
Yeah, no kidding. Tell me about it.
That's crazy. What are your goals for next year?
we've got something major in the works. I'm not going to mention what it is yet. I knew this question was going to come up, but I'm hoping
a little hint.
Nope, I can't. I can't, and I'm strong-willed, so it's not going to work. No Jedi mind trick here.
I did get class whiner. I normally get my way.
Say a word that it would rhyme with.
You're good, but not that good. Once I get the okay to talk about it more, I will come on here and talk for an hour about it.
Okay.
But I'm hoping that it's going to be something that's going to be very beneficial for not just the school but the community, and we'll see where it goes from there. So
okay.
that's what I would like to get implemented within the next few years. Now this isn't going to happen probably next year, but I do have some visions, and I do look into the future of what could be the possibilities of Wellston. I'm looking forward to getting one thing I'm really looking forward to is we've implemented a lot of great instructional strategies into this school year with how we analyze data.
Okay.
So we've implemented a couple new things this year. So I'm excited, one, to see how the test scores are going to come back. Now I'm not going to equate everything to a report card, but unfortunately the reality, that's how we're measured. Whether we like it or not,
I know
that's how we're measured.
That could be another hour-long show, or 2-hour-long show.
Easy, and I promise you, I wouldn't do but about maybe 50 minutes of a gripe session. So, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what some of those results are going to be, because you always want to get better from what you did the year before.
Sure.
So as long as we're moving on that upward trajectory, I'm happy with that. So looking into the future, a lot of things are going to hinge on, unfortunately, some of that stuff when it comes to academics. When it comes to the extracurricular stuff, we've got some different coaches and some new places. So we'll see how next year for our football team. We're looking forward to that. We're looking forward to some of our other athletics that we've got. But there's just the things that I want to see into the future. I want to see Wellston continue building on what we have now built a foundation on this year, and even what was done in the past. And just continue to build from that. And I still, at some point, and I love Phil, love Jason. I'm happy to be part of Jackson County.
It's great, to have such good people in the county, and that they work. You work
we
together,
do, and
communicate, talk.
I called Phil the other day. I had a question, and if he has something to tell me, he'll call me. I mean, so we are in touch, and I appreciate that so much, especially from his longevity here and me just being here. But there's a lot of things that we do work together on. And some of that is, but I want Wellston, again, I want us to be a part of Jackson County where, of course, when I got up, I heard all kinds of stuff.
I can only imagine what you heard.
Yeah. So, and some of it had some merit. Some of it probably didn't have some merit.
Yeah.
But I think now, I'm hoping that there's a little bit of a buzz about Wellston City Schools. And I'm just glad to be part of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I know the people that I know that work there, and if I had a child, I would be very happy that they were there, supporting my child. So I think you guys are well on your way, and definitely going to do great things.
I'm excited for the future. I'm excited for the possibilities, and I'm very happy to say that we're fully staffed now at the high school. I mean, and I say that, and I don't mean I say it jokingly. But I'm very genuine in saying, there are so many open positions. I'll tell you what, as of right now, there's probably around 170 openings for administrators right now in the state of Ohio.
Whoa. Why? Because nobody wants to do it?
Nobody wants to do them. Nobody wants to do our jobs. I mean, we get beat up all the time, and just nothing's never good enough. And we get beat up a lot.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle it, then that's not the place for you.
Well, again, we talked about thick skin. If you're not a thick-skinned person, you better. That's not the job for you.
Exactly. So we have teacher shortage in the state of Ohio. That's not unheard of. We know that. But that's why I am just so blessed that we have every position filled at the high school, and it's pretty remarkable. Now we got one we're still working on. We have one filled. But we're trying to now get it to be a licensed position, but at least it's filled. But even our subjects that we haven't had filled in quite some time, our high school maths and sciences, now fully staffed.
Awesome.
So yeah, we're really excited about that.
Are there any this might be putting you on the spot. Are there any programs or, I mean, my gosh, there's been, you talked about FFA and whatever. Are there any others maybe in the works that you're thinking about down the road that you know of? Or
no, and I'll say
he could tell me, but he'd have to kill me. No.
Well, this one I can almost tell you.
Okay.
Now, none that I'm aware of right now. And I try to think back as, okay, what did we have here? What do I have other folks that have? I listen to other schools of what they have.
Yeah.
And right now, I mean, and if I'm missing one, if somebody's out there and says, "Hey, you knew," and I say, "Well, I apologize, I'm forgetting that." But as of right now, I can't think of. Well, hold on. There is one I'd like to really bring back.
Okay.
Now that doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's just because that's what I spoke of earlier.
We're getting some dirt now, folks. I knew I'd get it out of him.
And I'm not saying we don't have. I'm not saying we do not have this organization embedded, but I sure would like to see it grow and do different things. And that's only because it's not because I don't like what's going on. It's not that. It's just because that's the realm I came from, which was FCCLA.
Okay.
The family community career, the leaders of men. That's just the realm I came from.
Like to see that grow.
I mean, my mother was a retired. Well, home ec's a bad word in my house, so you don't ever use the word home ec.
Okay.
So my mother was a retired family consumer science teacher. My wife retires this year for 34 years in family consumer science. I was the first guy in FHA.
Hey, there you go.
So that vocation has been in my blood since I was born. In fact, I'll never forget. I'll tell you this. I'm an advocate of early childhood education. So I might, and I don't get embarrassed very often. So I might turn a little red here. So you might want to dull the. So I remember this is my earliest memory of preschool. So I was in preschool and we sang this song, and it was, and nobody ever knows that. I'm probably the only one on the face of the planet that even remembers it. It was called Snaky Snake Drinks Root Beer. Now, I have no clue what in the world that means. But all I know is we say, Snaky Snake Drinks Root Beer, crying all the time, or something like that. I can't remember what it was. So anyhow, we're sitting there singing that song. Well, man, I raised my hand. And they said, "Yes, Brian." And I was like, "My dad doesn't drink root beer. He just drinks beer." So I found out, if you look in my baby book, this is a little tidbit about me that I will share. My first 3 words, I'm not making this up, it's in my baby book. My first 3 words were dad, girl, and beer. I was screwed from the start.
That was it. It was all over. Put a fork in him. That's so good. Hey, as someone that owns a brewery, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I never thought about that.
I like that. No, that sounds like you guys are really on the right track. Oh, and I don't want to fail to mention the Addams Family play.
Oh,
the
I
theater
forgot to mention I was there. Yeah,
were in the other day, and it was so nice to get to meet them, and they did such a good job. And what a fun play to get to put on.
Oh my gosh, and it was great for me to watch that one because my son, who graduates this year from a different school, and they haven't been able to do musicals for 2 years because just reasons.
Yeah.
Now, as a parent, I can really get into that one, but I won't.
Yeah.
The very last play he did, and he's really good at them, was the Addams Family.
Oh, cool. So you appreciate
it was really nice to see it again because it did bring back some of those memories. But, oh my gosh, those kids were amazing.
Yes.
I love that stuff, and it's like, because I did all that stuff in school. I wasn't the huge basketball star or anything like that, but I ran cross country and track. But most of it was like the plays, the musicals, and that kind of stuff. And I love that stuff.
See?
And it's like, oh my gosh, they did. I loved it. They did absolutely wonderful. So hopefully you got to go out and enjoy yourself on that.
That's right. So get out, support all the things these kids are doing.
Absolutely.
And of course, we can't thank you enough for being here today and filling us in on some of the stuff. And whenever you've got the dirt to spill or the tea to spill, would you come back?
I will be here anytime I invite myself or you invite me.
Okay. Well, the
I
door's
love seeing you
always
guys.
open.
I just can't believe it's been a year.
I know. Well, congratulations on a successful first year, and thank you for being in our area. We greatly appreciate it.
Well, it's my pleasure, and give all the thanks to the folks at Wellston because they're the ones that do the work.
Well, that is true. It takes an army, right?
Absolutely.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you so much. Of course, Dr. Brian Rao here, Superintendent of Wellston City Schools, and we'll see you again. Hopefully, not within a year. Not
True.
A
and
year.
One more
later.
thing.
Yes.
Go get that clue.
Yes.
Go get what you need to do to get that.
Find the cycle search clue packet. Yep. Absolutely. All right. Well, we'll be back here tomorrow with probably some news, and we look forward to that. So have a great day, and we'll see you right back here then. Thanks. Bye-bye.
This just in.
The Telegram News has a new website,
thetelegramnews.com.
Same dedicated coverage.
Same trustworthy news with a brand new look.
Covering Jackson and Benton counties and surrounding areas.
Locally owned and operated, thetelegramnews.com has its finger on the pulse of the community.
Stay up to date on local events, high school sports, and breaking news.
thetelegramnews.com.
Subscribe today at thetelegramnews.com.
Check it out.